What's up, everybody? It's Ty the Bourbon Guy, and welcome back to another whiskey review. Today, we're reviewing from Holladay out of Missouri, their soft red wheat, bottled in bond, Missouri straight bourbon. I think I got it all. It's been a bottle. If you've been on social media or if you're into whiskey at all, and you know, maybe follow the YouTube content and Instagram content and TikTok and all this stuff, this bottle has been one that everybody seems to be talking about. Everybody seems to be very excited about, and it has gotten rave reviews so far from a lot of people. Now, for me personally, when I see a bottle like this and I go into it, I'm almost a little bit more critical than normal, because there's a part of me that just feels like, do people just buy into the hype? Like, is it one of those bottles that's a good bottle, but with the way that people hype it up, you know, should it really have that type of hype, right? So for me, when I'm reviewing something like this, I think about that, and I'm almost a little bit more critical than probably what I would be any other time. If I came across this bottle and nobody was talking about it, would that be one that I absolutely, you know, score a certain way or whatever the case is? So I'm really curious how this one's going to hold up, again, because of the hype factor. So for those that may not know, like I said, this whiskey is actually from Missouri. It's amazing to me that they've been sitting on this. It's a bottled in bond, and they released it at 6 years. And those that may not be familiar, a bottled in bond bourbon just has to be at least 4 years old. So for a smaller distillery, a craft distillery, to sit on a 6-year bottle of that, you know, that to me is impressive. I think anytime a smaller craft distiller has a bottled in bond product at all, I think that that's fantastic. But to have it at 6 years and then release it says even more. So I think, you know, maybe they tried it at 4 and they felt like it wasn't ready. I don't know. That's just me kind of speculating that, but there had to be a reason why they chose to wait until now. They waited, and now, like I said, the hype is definitely behind this bottle. So as I always say, there's only one way to find out if this is really live up to the hype. Does this really live up to the hype or not? And that's to try it. So that's what we're going to do today. So the nose for me, you know, it's one of those things. This is a wheated bourbon, and they use soft red wheat as their wheat portion of their mash bill or their recipe of their bourbon, right? So I always am curious. Like, I know it's a wheated bourbon going into it, so I do get some of those softer characteristics. I get the wheat, I get the bread, I get all those different bready notes in there. But to me, it's like, is that just the power of suggestion, to where I know this is a wheated bourbon and, you know, it's going to be, the bread is going to be there for me? You know, I don't know, but that seems to be what I pick up. It's almost like it's got that sweetness to it, but it definitely goes into more of a sweet oak type of profile for me. So the nose, to transition from that sweet wheat, maybe, I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but sweet wheat into the sweet oak, there's definitely a lot going on there. And again, one of the other notes I get on a lot of wheated bourbons, one in particular, is cherries or some type of jelly or jam, or just that fruitiness, but like that sweet, rich fruitiness. So again, like a jelly, right? Like a strawberry jelly, or do they make cherry jelly? They got to make cherry jelly, right? I'm sure somewhere up in Michigan they do. But, you know, something like that. It's kind of just that real rich fruit, sugary nose. But more importantly, let's see what the whiskey tastes like. Cheers. So again, for those that are not as familiar, a bottled in bond product at all has to be 100 proof. So a bourbon that's a bottled in bond bourbon has to be 50% ABV, 100 proof. And it's one of those things that 100 proof, I think, is a fantastic proof for anybody. I think if you're a diehard bourbon enthusiast, 100 proof is tolerable. You're fine with it. I think it still provides enough flavor. I think if you are brand new to whiskey and you're just kind of getting into it and you don't want something that's too hot and just too overpowering, 100 proof is a good enough proof to still get the flavor out of it, but not feel like it's too hot. I think it's still doable. And for me, this whiskey definitely does that. I think with the wheat factor as well, wheat, for me at least, typically seems to soften a whiskey up. And so it's a wheated bourbon already. And then on top of that, it's 100 proof. So with those two things being said, for me, I get almost like an initial bitterness, but not like in a bad way. Like, it's almost to me like how, like not oak bitterness or anything. It's almost like how chocolate itself can be bitter sometimes. It's like that for me. But then it goes out of that and transitions into something more approachable. And again, like I said, for somebody who is new to whiskey, especially, I think that you will find this approachable. I could see this being mass appealing, very drinkable whiskey. It's always, for some reason, I hate when people say that, because that's what whiskey is drinking whiskey, right? But some whiskeys can just be so hot and so hard to grab those flavors out of that. And especially when you're beginning, I think it's tough, right? So for this particular bottle though, again, I feel like this is very approachable. It's soft. It's that cherry still there. It's lingering for sure. But it's just, I could see a wide range of people enjoying this particular bottle. I think, again, whether you're new to it, whether you've been in the game, whatever, I think that you would enjoy this. But before we keep getting ahead of ourselves, let's keep drinking a little bit more and see what the palate does as it evolves. So with this being a wheated bourbon, some other wheated bourbons out there, Larceny, Maker's Mark, Weller, Old Fitzgerald, you know, there's some of these out there that are maybe a little bit more commonly known, and I think this is starting to get out there. But just overall, I think that there are, you know, pretty good wheated bourbons on the market right now. And I think this, in my opinion, 100% my opinion, I feel like as a wheated bourbon, this bourbon actually leans more towards a Green River wheated bourbon, that direction, instead of a Weller direction or Makers or Larceny. It reminds me of that. If I were to drink this blind, I wonder if I would think maybe I'm drinking Green River. Green River is a little bit lower proof, so that might be a tell. You know, it's always hard to predict what would happen in a blind, but again, the taste profile, it's still the same like Green River, like I had with that, where it's toast or the bagel or like some type of something in the morning with jelly on it. But again, this for me is maybe more cherries, where the Green River, I said grape was one of the notes I got out of that. That's kind of splitting hairs. If you if you like whiskey and maybe you're new to it, you're like, what is this dude talking about? Is it good or not? It is good. I'll spare you the detail of that one. It is very good. And again, very approachable. Mass appeal is there for sure. I can definitely see this one being there, but let's keep going. Cheers. All right, so here's what it is. I think with what Holladay, the Holladay Distillery is doing out there in Missouri is absolutely amazing to me, what they've been able to produce. And again, I have a 6-year age-stated bottled and bond product is fantastic. And again, you know, to have a 6-year instead of a 4, to even have a bottled and bond product at all, fantastic. This is a great price point as well, at least in my area. And it's just one that I think, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but I just feel like this is one that a lot of people will enjoy. I know there's people out there that don't like wheated bourbons. If you don't like wheated bourbons, then I'm not going to say you'd like this one. But, I mean, it might be worth a shot at least, just because, again, I do feel like this, in my opinion, this strays a little bit of a different profile than, you know, a Weller or Makers or something like that. But I think overall, this product is a very well put together product. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I think at the price, it's definitely one that you buy it. I mean, I don't know that you need to try it before you buy it and all the other stuff. I think this is one you just take a flyer on. I think that, I hate to say it sometimes, but the hype, right? This one, I do think is a little bit overhyped, but not in a bad way. Is that a thing? It just, basically what I'm saying is, there's been a lot of people posting about this bottle where it makes it seem like you absolutely have to have this bottle. And, you know, I wonder if, I don't think there's a secondary market for it, but, you know, I hope not. But, you know, it's one of those things that I hope nobody's overpaying to get this bottle or anything like that. I don't think it's worth that. I think it is what it is, where, again, I can go into a store, it's sitting on the shelf, it's a fantastic product. I'm supporting a craft distillery out of Missouri, you know, so it's not just something out of Kentucky or Indiana or Tennessee or wherever. You're supporting other places around the country, and you're trying different whiskeys from other parts of the country. All that stuff being said, I think that it's a fantastic product. I think they've done a fantastic job. I know that there's other products out there, and I will actually review some here soon from Holladay. And I'm wondering with the increase in proof, if that flavor, that concentrated flavor is going to be there a little bit more. Again, this to me, easy sipping, approachable. All those things being said, I'm going to rate this whiskey a 91. I think that this is overall still a fantastic product. Every whiskey that I've rated 91 or above are ones that I absolutely would buy another bottle when this runs out, and that's the case with this. This is a fantastic bottle. When this is gone, I'll go buy another one. And this is one, if, again, people come over, they are interested in the whiskeys, and they want to try something. Maybe they don't want to try something too hot. Maybe they want to try something smooth. And which, you know, by the way, when somebody says that a whiskey is smooth, typically they're just meaning that it's approachable and it's not too hot, or, you know, it's drinkable. So the whole making people feel bad about using the word smooth is ridiculous to me, but whatever. That's a whole different video. But yes, if somebody were looking for a whiskey to try, and I were to pour this and then they would try it or whatever, and I could see somebody saying that this is a smooth whiskey just because of that soft red wheat, because of the proof, the way that it's made. I don't know. It's a very approachable bottle for sure. I don't need to keep rambling on about it. You get the hint. I like the bottle. I don't think it's 100% up to the hype, but I think that's just because it's overhyped. I don't think that's anything the Holladay's doing wrong or anything like that. I just think that people went nuts for this, and maybe I think wheated bourbons in general people seem to go nuts for. But again, still a fantastic bottle. This runs out, I'm getting another one. And it also opens my eyes to other Holladay products. It makes me want to try some other things that they have as well. So I think this bottle does exactly what they needed to do. Great job, Holladay. I hope that you guys keep listening to people in a good way. And I know that the Rickhouse proof is already out. I know that there's a Ben Holladay bottled and bond as well, that I believe is their rye mash bill instead of a wheated mash bill. But, you know, their products that they have right now, it's exciting to see. And I'm, again, more excited to see what's going to happen in the future. I talk in other videos about brands that see that initial success and then have a hard time kind of capitalizing on that going forward. And I really hope that this is a brand that can kind of, you know, just weather that initial storm of that success, and then from there continue to put out great quality products. The other thing about this that I like is, yes, this was a bottle that was definitely hyped up, but this is one that I can go to the store right now and go buy. Hopefully in your area this is available and you can do the same. To me, I don't know what good it does to tell you about an Old Fitz 15 or whatever the case is, and you can't go buy it. I mean, it's to me, that's very hard to influence somebody to go buy something that you like. And it's more of a flex, I think, at that point. But for me to be able to suggest this bottle, and I do suggest it, go try it. If it's available in your area, definitely buy it. I think you'll be happy with it. That's a long way to say that I like this whiskey, but I do. It's definitely a very good one. I hope you get a chance to try it. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much. I look forward to everything coming out of Holladay in 2024, and I'll see you in the next review. Cheers.